Welcome to Parenthood Bites, the podcast where we explore life as a parent in tech. I'm your host, Chow, and I have over 15 years of experience in tech, and I'm also currently working as a career coach. I'm the proud mother of 3 incredible boys. In each episode, we have an inspiring guest who will share their remarkable story. You'll find their wisdom and insights both relatable and enriching, because after all, we're all in this parenting journey together. So grab your favorite drink, get cozy, and let's dive into today's episode. Hi everyone, welcome to episode 42 of Parenthood Bites. We're here today with Leonardo Garcia Crespo, who is a software engineer at Automattic and based in London. And is it okay if I call you Lenny?
Yep, absolutely. Almost everyone calls.
How are you?
Doing well. Thank you. How are you?
I'm good. It's probably like nighttime, right? Getting ready to do dinner routine and all of that over there, right? On a Monday night.
Yeah, here's already 5 p.m. It's about that time. One of the kids is already here at home, and then the other one is about to come. So that's when chaos starts. Good chaos.
Well, that goes into my question of like, how old are they?
Well, the older one, the one that is currently here, she goes to school. She's 7 years old. And then the little one is 2.5. And the little one is a boy.
Oh, so I think, 7, like you said, they're pretty self-sufficient as long as you keep an eye on them from time to time, right? But then 2.5, that's like 100%, 150% of your energy.
Yeah. I've learned that we take turns with my wife to go pick him up. But when it's my turn, I know that that's when work kind of stops. I know that this touches a little bit probably on what we're going to be talking about, but I feel like, after I pick him up and we come home, he demands a lot of attention. So it's really hard to, even if I turn my face towards the screen, he immediately goes, hey, do something with me.
He keeps you honest, right? He's like, no screen time, no phone. You're focused on me.
Yeah, in that regard, it's really good.
Yeah. And then the older one, it's like you can give them TV or iPad or it's just something. And then like half an hour, right? At least you have that time.
Yeah. And she also has some homework often, so she can do that on the iPad or on a notebook or whatever. Yep.
Isn't that crazy how they can just do everything on their iPad on their own? And you're like, what? When did that happen?
It's crazy. I didn't grow up like with the touch screens because that's kind of like fairly new. But she grew up with that, so it was very intuitive for her to, I don't know, grab my phone and then start like touch it, and then some lights appeared, and then she started like pressing and sliding and doing stuff, and things happened. So I guess that's how she learned, or she started learning.
She's like, oh, if I touch these things, all this stuff happens, right?
And it's funny because now with that, she expects every screen to be like that. So maybe she goes on the TV when she was little.
Tries
to touch it.
Yeah. My son used to do it. He'd go to my laptop and try to zoom in.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, buddy, it doesn't work like that. Not this laptop.
Yeah, not this one. Yeah.
But, you touched on something where you said when we were growing up, we didn't have that. And I think about that a lot, especially in my kids. They're at that age where they rely a lot on electronics and stuff. And I tell them like, hey, when I was little, I came home, I didn't have all these screens attached to me all the time, and it was fine. You think back and you're like, we survived. We were fine. How come they can't, at least for my kids, an hour without electronics? Jeez, they act like they can't survive without it.
Yeah, it's very hard. We try a lot for that to be like the last resort. I know that homework is already, most of it is on the tablet, so kind of like defeats the purpose a little bit. But whenever she finishes, we try, I don't know, when we have the time to dedicate to her in particular, we try to like find things outside of the screen as much as possible.
Like literally anything else, right?
Yeah, whatever. One thing that I'm very, I think that it's really good for my daughter is that she really likes reading, or like at least she gets entertained with books, both reading and obviously watching pictures and stuff like that. She can stay with a book for a long time as well, as if it was a screen. I mean, obviously she gets more entertained with the tablet, but she can spend like almost an hour reading a book or like getting entertained with that.
I love that. I mean, if kids can get immersed in a good book, I think that's the best thing. Sometimes trying to find them that book is what takes me so long.
Yeah.
Like, we gotta find you a book you'll like.
Yeah, and it's so random, the book that they picked.
Yes, you're like, what? Okay, I guess. As long as it'll keep you busy and you like it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So what brought you to a career in tech?
Well, I mean, when I was about to finish secondary school, like high school, I honestly didn't know yet what to pursue for a career. So I had like a couple of options. I liked music and I liked playing video games on the computer. So yeah, it was like try to find some careers that touched a little bit on those interests. I didn't know that programming existed. So I started like doing some of those like career guides or like tests where you can see what you are more likely to enjoy as a career. So I did a couple of those tests. A couple of them like were actually you can do whatever because you don't have like a preference, which is actually the point. I wanted to to find my preference. But yeah, some of those actually recommended me either software engineering or I think it was sound design or something like that, sound and image design or something related to digital design and stuff like that. So I remember I went to both at the university back in Buenos Aires. I'm from Argentina. At the beginning of every year, they had like demos of careers and stuff like that. From time to time, they would present that. So I went to both and kind of like decided to go with software engineering, even though I didn't know much about programming or anything like that. It felt more interesting, more fun, and I guess also like there was a natural, probably it's a better career choice. So yeah, that's how I got into it. I remember my first year at university, I didn't know how to program. I remember like I met a friend there that actually taught me some Visual Basic. So that was the first language that I learned. Obviously, then there were like some subjects at the university where you would start learning with different languages. Java, I think it was Pascal, some very old ones. But yeah, Visual Basic was actually the first one.
Nice. You know, it's really funny you say that because I think I went to school, computer science, and after I graduated, when I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do for a career, that was when my dad, because he's a programmer, he had been playing around with Visual Basic, and he was like, "Why don't you stay home for a few months and I'll teach you Visual Basic, and maybe it's something you like." And so actually, that was the last thing I learned after school was learning Visual Basic, and I even went to an interview for it, and I was like, I don't know if I want to do this. So I ended up more on the web side of things, but I also went through that stage where I was like, oh, so this is Visual Basic. Okay. But we
Yeah.
both didn't end up doing it.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah,
Great.
I remember then like a couple years after my first job had to do with a little bit with Visual Basic and said, oh, I know, I remember this. So that was like handy.
Yeah. Yeah, it came back to you, right? So how many years were you working when you became a parent?
Yeah, this was like 7 years ago. So I was 32, I think. Now I'm living here in London, in the UK. At the time, we were in Buenos Aires. My job was mostly remote. I was working remotely for a job in the US. Yeah, it was mostly like a contractor type of thing. So what I did is obviously once we knew and we were sure that we were having a baby, I let them know. And when the time came, I took some time off, but because I was like a contractor, I just took time off and kind of like stopped working for some time. So I didn't take a lot of time. So I tried to like maybe like take, I think I took maybe less than a month. And then I came back. Obviously, I think my wife at the time, yeah, she had like obviously a better plan for maternity leave. So she was able to not have to return to work for a couple months. So yeah, we managed with that. And then we actually, in the middle of that, we actually found this opportunity to go live abroad. It happened with both kids. At the time when both were born, there were like some big life, obviously having a baby is already a big one, but other big life events like moving abroad. We actually moved abroad when my daughter turned 1.
So that's when you moved to London?
Yeah, we actually waited for her first birthday to be with family in Argentina, and then we moved. And then for the second one, also like we moved houses here, so it was like quite chaotic as well.
That's a lot. It's like, why not, right? Since I'm having a baby anyway, why not move to another country or
Exactly.
another
Yeah. It's
house?
gonna be stressful already, so that's.
What was the drive behind moving when you had your first kid? Was it like work was in London or you just wanted to explore? What was the reasoning?
Yeah, it was a combination because when we actually got married, which was like 2 years before we had our daughter, we went on a trip to Europe, which was probably the second time I've been to Europe because it's too far away. It's something that we didn't do as much. Now, obviously, we're very happy here. Like we can travel way more than that. So we did that trip and we said, oh yeah, let's spend some time in different cities to see how they are, how they feel like, what it is like to live there, but not necessarily as a tourist, even though like we were staying maybe just for a month or for a couple of weeks. We spent the time, we went like for 6 months in total to Europe. So we got to experience like a handful of cities at a lower pace, kind of like trying to live more like a person that would live there instead of rushing like a tourist. So yeah, we got to see like a different perspective of some cities, and we actually said, this is nice. It would be nice to live somewhere eventually in our lives. So the plan was to move eventually, but with a job already there. So I started like pursuing some jobs abroad. And obviously it was hard because it meant getting a job, but also getting the company to relocate me or to have like a work visa at least. So yeah, I was fortunate to find Twitter at the time, which I managed to interview for, and they had this package that offered me like the relocation and everything, and I'm moving here to London. The original plan was to just live for 2 years and then eventually come back. But yeah.
Now your daughter's 7.
Exactly. My daughter's 7. It's been 6 years since we've been living here, and a second one appeared.
That's awesome. And so when you said you took the 6 months to kind of try different places, see how you liked it, that was like when you first got married. Is that right? So like no kids, it was just you
Yeah.
and your wife trying to.
Yeah,
That
was
is so
that
great.
same year that we got married. Like it wasn't our honeymoon. It was like a trip that we did afterwards. But yeah, that same year, because we were like in the middle of like she was changing jobs, so she said like, yeah, let's do it now. We knew that we were gonna have kids, so we said let's do it now.
That's awesome. I think I rarely hear about people who have done something like that. And I think that's really interesting because, like you said, you weren't going as a tourist. You were going as, hey, let's trial living here and see if we like it.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother feeling. And it's also very brave because these are countries you've not been to, right? And you're like, hey,
Yeah.
let me try to live here for a little bit. That's really neat.
Yeah, we only knew like a handful. I mean, coming from Argentina, like the typical thing that you do the first time you go to Europe is travel for a month and squish in as many cities as you can, like
As much as possible.
2 days here, 3 days there. So we knew a few, but yeah, because we managed to stay more time in those cities that we already knew, but we also got to know other ones or other countries.
That's so neat. So you were saying your first child you were contracting, so you were able to take like probably some unpaid leave, right?
Yeah.
So what about with your second one? What was the parental leave like with him?
Well, I was still at Twitter when the second one came. They used to have, I'm not sure, I doubt they still have the same.
Yeah, we don't know about now,
Yeah, I'm not
but
sure.
back in the day.
I don't know. But I knew that at the time, yeah, it was like really, really good because it was like, I think it was the same benefit for both father or mother. And I think it was around 20 weeks. So it was like really good. And it allowed you to even like split it into several different chunks. So you didn't have to take it all at once. You could even like consider taking turns because if in my case, my wife had a more strict plan, but she had to take it. Obviously, it's important to take it sometime in the beginning, but then maybe I could like support by taking some time after as well.
Yeah. So did you split it up? How did you do it?
Yeah. Also, we used that as an opportunity to like when the baby was old enough to travel. I managed to squish that time there to go back and visit family so that they get to know him.
Yeah, that's really great. So what did you do for childcare when your daughter was younger and with your son now? Or also with your daughter now, because she's not that old. What do you
Yeah.
do for childcare?
Yeah, well, with my daughter, when she was born, we were still in Argentina, so we hired a nanny to help us during that time. But because we moved when she was like 1 year old, then when we came here, my wife had a couple of months where she wasn't working. She did actually. It was bigger than that because obviously, in addition to having a baby and moving abroad, my wife also decided to change careers. She's an architect, but she changed eventually. Now she's working on tech as well. But at the time, she wasn't working and she wanted to study and learn. So she took some time off and she was able to take care of our daughter. And then when she was a bit older, when she was able to go to nursery, my wife started like doing some courses and learning there. So essentially, like she took care of my daughter for the first couple of months, and then eventually she started going to nursery and then school and so on. And with my younger one, with my son, did kind of the same. We tried to enroll him in nursery a bit earlier than with our daughter. Apparently, like because we also moved, we didn't know exactly where to put him. So we looked for several nurseries and they were like quite booked. You had to like make some reservations in advance. So we struggled a little bit to find a nursery at the time. So in between, since when they told us, yes, you will have a place 3 months from now or sometime like that. In the meantime, we had a nanny to help us.
Wow. So much going on. I feel tired just hearing. I was like, wow, she's trying to change careers while raising this newborn, while dealing with moves and everything. Wow, that's a lot. And I think it's interesting you said she went from architect to having a career in tech, because I think this is the third example we've heard of someone who switched from architecture to
Really?
tech. Yeah, I'm like, okay,
Nice.
architects that are listening, I don't know, maybe tech could be something interesting.
Maybe it's because of the job offers on internet when they ask for like an architect in system design, and they say,
and then you see the salary range and you're like, oh, that's
yes.
interesting.
It's a different kind of architect, yes.
Yeah. How is she liking being in tech?
Yeah, she likes it a lot. I think she was able to transfer a lot of like her skills because she used to work at on the construction site with builders and stuff. So she was like the one managing like everyone. So she learned a lot of like managing people and managing teams and planning as well, all those things. So she was able to transfer all of those skills into her team and her day-to-day job. And she kind of like naturally became more of a manager. At times she didn't know if she wanted that or not, but eventually, yeah, she had like this innate skill of like, yeah, let's add some order to this thing. Everything is chaos. Let's document this. Let's make sure that this gets done. And yeah, stuff like that.
So a lot of her skills kind of translated
Exactly.
over
Yeah.
into that.
Yeah, it was really, really transferable. Yeah, exactly.
Nice. So earlier you said when they come home, your older one comes home, she's kind of self sufficient. The younger one is a little bit chaotic. So, being those few years apart, do you have the similar routine for them? Like when they go to sleep, do they have a similar bedtime or how does that work?
Yeah, fortunately, like the older one is way easier because she can do a lot of things on her own. And lately, like these last couple of months, we try to like merge the sleeping routine for both. She always enjoyed having a book read at night, like a story. So now what we do is when after dinner, like they both brush their teeth. Obviously, I brush the little one's teeth, and she can brush her teeth on her own. And then we go to their bedroom. They're sharing the same bedroom now because they have like two like beds, like the one on top of each other. So yeah, we go to the bed, the lower bed, and we all stay there and we read like two stories, one for him and the other one for her, like one for more grown-ups or for like older kids, and another one with more pictures and stuff like that. So the little one stays for both while he's having like a bottle, and then when we're done, my daughter then goes to the bed upstairs. She climbs the stairs to go to the upper bunk bed, and then yeah, we stay with my little one until he falls asleep. Sometimes it requires some tablets or some videos and stuff to kind of like soothe him out. But sometimes he's so exhausted that he doesn't need that. So that's good.
Yeah. So they're both able to sleep through the night? Like he doesn't wake her up in the middle of the night or anything?
Yeah, my daughter, she sleeps through the night, but he has some days like the little one. He may have days where he can wake up at 6 a.m. and that's, to me, that's like, because we wake up usually at 7. It's like, okay, you already slept through the night. This is like your normal time. But there are some times where like he can wake up at midnight or at 1, and it depends. Like maybe it's because he needs the nappy changed, or sometimes it's because he just wants to be touching one of us.
Right,
So we
right.
typically just I go to his bedroom and then I grab him and bring him to our bed, and he sleeps in between us.
Then you don't have to go back and forth. At
Yeah,
least that was me. It was like, let's keep them in their room. And then eventually it's like, okay, you made a peep. Just come into my room. I don't want to go back and forth in the middle of the night because then we
yeah,
can't fall
exactly.
back to sleep.
Yeah.
So, how has your work life changed since you became a parent?
Well, yeah, a lot. I think a lot from having no kids to the first one, and also from the first one to the second one. I think it changes quite a bit. I think you learn to be more efficient with the time that you have. Also, yeah, you see like small time slot, like I don't know, 15 minutes, and that for when you have no kids, that's like lost time. When you have kids, it's like, oh, that's gold. I need
Right.
to like make the most of it. So yeah, you try to be as efficient as possible, both in terms of getting them ready to go to school, to go to nursery, to go to bed, but also at work, because you kind of like learn that you have like maybe a subset of the usual time that you would get, because I don't know, in the afternoon, I need to go pick up my daughter from school, then I need to come back. Depending on how we take turns with my wife, maybe I also need to go to pick Mateo from nursery. So it requires some planning so that the actual bulk of work, you do it in the morning / shortly after lunch. Try to squeeze as much as you can there, because afterwards you will be like coming and going. You can probably respond to some messages and read some stuff, but you probably won't finish a task.
Right. Like the stuff that requires deeper concentration
Yeah,
or heads
focus.
down, try to get that. And then like the other things. I think even messages, like you can respond to some when the kids are there, but even some messages you have to really sit down and think about
Exactly.
how you want to respond. And even then it's like, nope, kids are home. Can't do that right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, really forcing you to prioritize.
Yeah, I'm grateful that yeah, I work with people that either are in the same situation or that are like very empathetic with that, and they understand and they respect the time. I mean, obviously you can always follow up the next day, unless it's like very urgent. I mean, obviously when there's some level of urgency, you decide, like also like with my wife, if there's something that is really really important that needs to happen now because it's like the site is down or something and no one else can help, I can probably chime in and help a little bit. But yeah, obviously like it's only for a brief period of time, or it needs to be like very sporadic, because yeah, usually when the kids are home, it's the time where like you stop working and take care of the kids.
Yeah, it's like you have that trust with your team, right? Like they know that if something you really need to get online for something, you will be there. But under normal circumstances, they understand that
Exactly.
these are your boundaries and this is your routine.
Yeah, it's kind of like obviously in both
Yeah.
directions, right? If she has like a tough day at work and she needs to like handle something for the next day, it's the same thing.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So, what has been your biggest struggle or challenge being a parent in tech?
Yeah, I think learning that is because I don't know, maybe there were some times where like I wanted to continue doing something after work where like I was particularly interested on, or like I don't know, watching conferences or things that are related to my job, but I'm very passionate about and I wanted to like continue doing, or like I didn't mind spending some more time after work to do that, and learning that yeah, that right after work is not the time, and I need to like focus on the kids, on getting them, like they come back from school hungry, so they need to eat, they need to like have their like night routine and everything. That's probably, it was hard for me to learn. But yeah, now like again, like what you learn is that you learn to like make the most of every small time that you have available. So you learn that yeah, after you do that, because they go to bed fairly early, you can still do something afterwards. You can spend it however you want, or you can also be more efficient and do it before, if it's like something that will be useful for the future, you like, or something that you want to do at work, you can like spend the time investing on that.
Right. And I think it's especially hard because you work with a lot of people in different time zones, right? And you're ahead most of the time. So it's like when you log off, some people are still online. Whereas for me, because I'm in the
Yeah.
West Coast, when I log off, I know everybody else is already sleeping. Maybe they'll wake up earlier, and start the next day, but at least I know I'm the last one to end today. And for you, it's like when you end today, there's East Coast, there's West Coast, like all the US people haven't ended.
Yeah.
How do you handle that? That's hard.
Yeah. At first, it was like very, very hard, because obviously there's a lot of anxiety, because you feel like, oh, things are happening and maybe someone is reaching out, or people are discussing about something that you know that you want to, like, maybe you're missing this bit in this conversation, or you can help solve a thing because you have maybe the context. Obviously, when that's the case and it's easy, maybe just like send the message and log off. But it is hard to fully disconnect from that and trust that there's other people that will be able to handle things, and you can like follow up the next day, and it won't be the end of the world. And also because the company that I work for now, it's very remote friendly. So it's actually very distributed across the world, and they barely have physical offices in every country. We don't have an office here in the UK. So it's more like by design, it's made for being asynchronous. There's rarely something that is like so urgent that requires you to be there outside of your working hours to answer. Either someone else will chime in and handle it for you, or you can reply when you start your day the day after, and that will be fine.
What are some things that you all do to make it so it works asynchronously? Is it like you have some notes that everyone adds to, or is it just understand you respond to Slack later? Like, what are some things you do to make it work that way?
Yeah, being at the same page is one thing, not assuming that everyone is in the same time zone as you and waiting for last minute to ask a question. And then, yeah, like that, anticipating what you will probably need and making sure that you ask everything before you leave, or you leave potential answers to potential questions that people will ask you before you end of your day, and being quite verbose in what you did, what you're going to do, what you're currently working on, kind of like to indicate this is what I'm focusing on, this is what I did. So if, I don't know, if something is broken, take a look at this.
I see. Just being really clear with communication, with your status, and like just, it
Exactly.
sounds like even over communicating in some cases, which in this case is really helpful because you never know what information
Yeah.
people will
Yeah.
need,
Yeah.
right?
Never hurts. Yeah. Yeah.
So, this is a question that I just thought of recently. I haven't asked anyone before, but since I asked about your biggest struggle and challenge, what do you see as your biggest benefit being a parent in tech? Especially now, your wife has also switched into tech. Like, what do you see as the biggest benefit?
Well, I guess like, I mean, I love working in tech, so I get to do two great things, like being a parent and at the same time working in something that I like, that I can potentially maybe teach my kids if they are interested, or even if they are not, at least show them and they will learn what they like and what they don't like. So yeah, it gives you like some ability to like play with things and show them eventually to the kids and see, oh, this is what I do. Sometimes it's funny because obviously the kids see us on a computer every
They're like,
day.
what are you doing? You're just typing.
And then, yeah, exactly. So, because they want to copy everything. So they sometimes they may just sit next to us, grab something that looks like a computer or like a toy
Oh,
screen or whatever, and they pretend that they're working.
that's sweet. Yeah.
So that's really nice. And yeah, like I guess being like thankful that like I'm working in, at least in this context of being able to work remotely, because working in tech doesn't require you to be in person with, in general, it doesn't require you to be like next to some machine or next to some special like office or whatever. You just need your computer and you can do your work for the most part. So it is allows me to like build my day-to-day routine near kids, near their routines. So I have the freedom or the benefit of like going to pick them up,
Right. Having that flexibility.
walking, and not having to stress out because I need to run back from the office to pick them up, or having someone else pick them up, and I may lose some part of their day when they come home. So that's really nice, like being able to be there all the time.
Yeah, no, that's really true. I mean, when I used to work far from home and we had people pick them up, it's like the after school program, they had someone go pick up my kids. And sometimes I would hear them say, like, oh, today they didn't have a car seat, or today they told us to sit in the front seat and the seatbelt wasn't working. And I'm like, oh my God, what? And it's like those things that, you try not to think about. But then when you have someone pick up your kids, it's like you do think about that. And it's like, how much do I, then I have to go over there and be like, hey, you need to put my kid in a booster seat. They need to have a
Yeah,
seatbelt. But then it's like they're old enough they can tell me. But when they were younger, they couldn't say anything. So then what was going on there, right? There's always that
yeah.
that worry of like, are they actually following rules when they're transporting my children?
Yeah,
You know.
yeah.
So with your kids being 7 and 2.5, what are some challenges or struggles with their current ages?
Well, I guess probably like it's still like a couple of years, but yeah, I guess like we were talking about this, like kids like being very very attached to the screen and stuff like that. Maybe it requires some. You need to start thinking about, okay, what are like the controls that you want to set, especially as they're growing up, like things with like social media and stuff like that. It makes you like more conscious about it. So that's like one challenge that I'm thinking about. Then yeah, I guess yeah, for the older one as well, like having some ways to make her like more like self-sufficient, to not get bored and just default to watching the TV or the tablet, and to be more creative and do things on her own, invent games, invent a story, or draw something. She likes drawing a lot, but yeah, it's like being able to do that on her own.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because now it feels like they've lost that creative side a little bit. Like, sure, sometimes they know what to draw and stuff, but they can't think of what to do next. That seems to be something that
Yeah.
they struggle with because everything's at their fingertips. They don't have to.
And then for the little one, yeah, I guess the struggle is understanding that, yeah, when he's around, you need to like spend the time. You cannot do two things at the same time. You really need to like spend the time and be there, because it can reach to a point where like he can like, I don't know, I'm doing something else. I don't know, even like cooking dinner. If I'm the only one at the house because, I don't know, my wife hasn't come back home yet, or she's doing something else, he may just grab me by the hand and like say, come play with me.
I don't care if you're making dinner. We're playing.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, it is hard to be able to make him understand. I mean, he plays with his sister as well, but sometimes he just wants either mom or dad. And
Yeah, and I feel like sometimes the older kid too is like, why me? I want to play on my own right now. Why do I have to take the younger one with me? We see that sometimes.
yeah, especially because yeah, the playing eventually ends up being the little one grabbing everything that she has.
Because he doesn't understand,
Uh,
right?
yeah, he just wants to copy her, but copying her means having the same things that she has.
Yeah, and then for her, it's probably a little bit frustrating sometimes in those
Yeah,
situations, right? Like, oh my
yeah,
God, my
exactly.
little brother again.
Yeah, I'm impressed by how much patience she has with her brother. It's like comparing it to anything else, I would even feel myself like, if I wasn't in her shoes, I would like probably just like become impatient like way more easily.
Aw.
But she has the time. She can like say, okay, Mateo, stop. but then she doesn't like lose it. Like she just goes and does something else. He may continue doing the same until obviously after a while, maybe yes, she just wants to, like, she calls us and says, please do something about him. Like she cares for him and she tries to like help him or like make him understand, I don't want you to be doing this, I want to be alone, or I want to, let me do this, don't destroy the toy that I'm the tower that I'm building.
Like she tries to explain it to him, right? Try to reason
Yeah.
with him. But that's sweet. That's a very, very sweet older sister. Does she try to like, take care of him too? Kind of like
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
third
Yeah.
parent almost sometimes.
Yeah, there were times when I had to be alone with both because my wife had to do something else for a few days, and she actually took care of her new role, and she was like very helpful, trying to, I don't know, to entertain him while I was cooking dinner, to maybe when they were like both taking a shower, she would help him while I'm doing something else, or like putting him to sleep.
That's sweet. And I think in those moments I'm like, man, why can't you do this every day? But I'll take it, it's just really,
Yeah,
really
yeah.
sweet when they do that.
Exactly. Yeah.
For sure. So, what about for work life balance? Like, what is your approach to work life balance right now?
I try to do as much during my work hours and during the time that they are at school and they are like at school or nursery. And then, yeah, when they're back, I think it's really good to have kids in that sense, because it kind of like forces you to end the day. Even if you don't want to end the day, if you want to do both things at the same time, but as we discussed, it can lead to you stressing out unnecessarily or like not being able to do either. So I guess, yeah, you learn to accept that when it's time to pick up the kids or to end the day, at least when both are home, the day is finished, you can continue the following day. So maybe just when you know that that time is coming, I don't know, like half an hour before, start like writing down everything you've done, everything that you are in progress and you haven't finished, so that you remember the next day, I was doing this, I need to finish this thing. And maybe like consider also, like as we said before as well, who needs to know those things in case someone is waiting for you for something that you are doing to continue the day, if you're blocking someone, or if you shipped something like a thing and it may cause some issues and you're not there.
Yeah, yeah. I think like you're absolutely right. Kids are definitely a forcing function to stop working or to do things that are out of your comfort zone, right? Like before
Yeah.
kids on the weekends, if I needed to do work, it's just okay, sit there, get some work done. But now it's like you're forced to, like, I'm forced to take them to the park. I'm forced to take them to a party or something. And I'm forced to talk to these parents
Yeah.
that I otherwise wouldn't have talked to. So I think like in all aspects, they kind of just force you out of your normal comfort zone.
Yeah, it forces you, yeah, to do things that, yeah, you wouldn't do. Like, you would just like maybe like continue doing your routine, but then you need to like blend their routines as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So what are some things that help you relax or unwind?
I have some hobbies. I like playing the guitar, well, the bass guitar. I like watching series in the evening. I usually, even though I end up like the day exhausted, I usually actually go to bed quite late, so I can stay watching some series or watching some concerts or whatever. I also like, yeah, going out from time to time to music shows, to concerts and stuff with friends. So in that sense, we sometimes take turns with my wife. I think that's a hard thing about like living abroad. You don't have the family nearby or not as often. So we do that. Some other times we have a nanny that can take care of both. We try to go out as well.
That's awesome. So it's like you get your time to go do what you need to do, and she gets
Yeah.
her time to go
Yeah.
out as well.
Which is great because also like you learn or you get more comfortable to take care of both, even if like it sounds like a lot, but once you do it more, you start like getting used to it and they start getting used to it and it becomes easier.
Yeah, for sure. In the beginning, I feel like for me, I'm like, oh my God, 3 kids by myself. How am I going
Yeah.
to do it? And then like it becomes a routine and you kind of know, okay, this is what I need to do.
Yeah.
This is how I need to leverage them to help each other.
Yeah, exactly.
So what about when you practice like your bass guitar and stuff? Do they like watch you? Do they want to play too? Like
Yeah, I cannot really play too much if my son is around, is awake, because as soon as I grab the guitar, he wants to like he climbs on top of me and he tries to grab it and either slam it or just like mute it, so I cannot play.
oh.
So I need to do it like when he's distracted with playing something else or when he's asleep. But it's fun to do it like that because, yeah, sometimes he does like even more cute things. We have like also a ukulele, which is like a small guitar. So when I grab the bass guitar, he goes and grabs the other one and he pretends to be playing with me.
That's cute. And then when he gets older as
Yeah.
as he has those interests, then you could like play with him.
Yeah. In a couple of years, we will form a band.
Yeah, you have a little band. I love that. So the last thing I like to ask is just what's something you wish you knew before you became a parent, or something you would tell someone who's getting ready to have kids?
Well, I guess, yeah, this thing about not having enough time or learning that the free time that you had on your own, in the beginning, it will seem like it's going away because it's true that you will have less time, but then you will learn to manage it more efficiently and then eventually have your time at the beginning of the day, at the end of the day, you will try to find and squeeze some more time on your own. And then, yeah, like there will be like lots of ups and downs, but yeah, it's tricky because you are now part of like a new person's life. So you may be grumpy, that person may be grumpy, you may be happy, that person may be happy. So you will go through like really good moments and maybe some bad moments too. But it's crazy once you look in retrospect that you're able to take care of another person or a couple people.
Yeah, so it's like an adjustment. It's a bit of a roller coaster, but eventually you get a hang of it.
Yeah. And when you look back, you say, oh, I am already achieving something huge, which is taking care of someone. I managed to keep them healthy,
Right.
well, alive,
Alive.
healthy.
All the fingers and toes still there. Like,
Yeah,
that's a win,
everything
right?
is still, yeah, the body is complete.
They're bathed every day. That's an
Yeah,
accomplishment for sure.
it's a huge achievement, yes.
Yeah. And I'll say, like, the other thing you mentioned earlier, which is like around time management. It's like, I feel like before 15 minutes went by quickly, and now it's like the amount of stuff I can get done in 15 minutes feels like an achievement in itself, right?
Yes. Yeah. Wow, it's like the equivalent of a power nap, but for being awake.
You're like, I'm pretty much a superhero at this point. But yeah, so thanks a lot, Lenny, for sharing all your experiences today. And it was really fun hearing about everything. And hopefully, we can reconnect again sometime in the future and hear about your kids as they're even older. But also, thank you for re recording this, because people may know I'm on episode 51, but this is episode 42 because the first time I recorded it, for some reason, it didn't record your audio clip. So super appreciate you being willing to re-record it again, especially it's nighttime over there. So just really thank you.
That's all right. Thank you. Yeah, thanks a lot for inviting me, for considering me for your show. And it doesn't matter, like, if we have to record it again. Let's hope not.
Yeah. Hopefully the next time is an update of when they're older.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it was fun both times. So yeah, really enjoy the time talking with you about this.
It was a lot of fun. Thank you. And I hope you have a great rest of your week. Take care.
Thank you. Same.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us today on Parenthood Bites. We hope you found our episode informative and entertaining. If you're a parent in the tech world or know someone who is, we'd love to hear from you. Please reach out to us at chow@parenthoodbites.co, and we'll be thrilled to add your experiences to our interviews. That's chow, CHIAO, @parenthoodbites.co. And to our potential sponsors out there, if you're a business or know of one that would like to support and partner with our podcast, please don't hesitate to get in touch. You can also reach us at chow@parenthoodbites.co. Thank you once again for tuning in, and we wish you a fantastic rest of your week. Until next time, take care and stay curious.